Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short.
I said that?
Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically.
that.
You know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
I did watch all of these pieces of video. I didn't detect the sarcasm. Lost by a whisker. We didn't quite make it.
A few days ago, many Americans tuned in to the unfair debate on ABC News, featuring on one side Kamala Harris, David Muir, and Lindsey Davis, against on the other side, Donald Trump. Yep, you got it, 3 against 1. Most people that watched the debate, they quickly pointed out that the media showed a lot of bias, especially when it came down to fact-checking the candidates. Now, the moderators, they was very quick on their feet to check every single word that came out of Donald Trump's mouth, but they somehow failed miserably at fact-checking their candidate of choice, Kamala Harris. Not to worry, in today's video, I will run you through 5 of Kamala Harris's lies since ABC News refused to. I think the best one to start with is the one that Kamala Harris and the Democrats has been trying to use as their #1 fear tactic to dissuade voters, especially the undecideds, away from Trump, and that is the big bad Project 2025. Here's a clip of Vice President Harris once again trying to associate Donald Trump with Project 2025 while offering a bit of fright to the viewers.
What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again.
Well, Donald Trump has said on many occasions that he does not support Project 2025 and that he is in no way associated with it. Let's hear him.
2024 focus right now on President Biden and the future of his campaign. Donald Trump chose today to try to distance himself from Project 2025. That's the 900-plus page document from conservative advisors at the Heritage Foundation, which lays out some pretty aspirational goals to reshape the federal government and, frankly, American life if Trump were to win in November. Well, on Truth Social today, Trump wrote, I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them.
And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy.
Well, speaking of democracy, the next lie that we will debunk is the lie that was told about what would happen if Donald Trump is not elected. During the debate, Kamala Harris tried once again to use fear tactics by saying that Donald Trump has threatened a bloodbath in the event that he loses the upcoming elections. Let's watch.
And to end the approach that is about attacking the foundations of our democracy because you don't like the outcome. And be clear on that point. Donald Trump, the candidate, has said in this election there will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
This would have been a very simple one for David and Lindsey to debunk, because everyone knows that when he made that statement at a campaign rally, he was talking about the import of electric vehicles from Chinese manufacturers. He was using the term bloodbath as a business reference, simply meaning a period of disastrous loss or reversal. Let's take a look at the footage from the rally.
Building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath.
Shanghai is known as the business capital, but it has been a bloodbath recently.
This is Matthew Cratter from Trade University. And today I want to talk about the Bitcoin bloodbath that's currently going on.
So what's going on in the industry? Why are we hearing this word bloodbath when it comes to trucking?
The stock's up this year.
Movies look to me like it's going to be a bloodbath too. So.
That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it.
ABC News should be embarrassed for their completely biased mishandling of this debate. The next blatant lie that Harris told that went unchecked is that former President Trump said that Putin, that he can do what in the hell he want and go into Ukraine. Now, the fact is that Trump, he was speaking about his NATO partners not paying their fair share. And when one of the world leaders asked him if he would still protect their country in the event of a Russian invasion, Trump told him that he wouldn't if they still haven't paid their debt to NATO. Let's watch the video.
That he said of Putin that he can do whatever the hell he wants and go into Ukraine. It is well known that he said when Russia went into Ukraine, it was brilliant.
Sorry, Vice President Harris, but it is not well known. Here's the actual footage of Trump talking about what would happen if Putin was to invade a NATO member that was still behind. And by the way, that other country, it wasn't Ukraine.
Until I came along, I said, everybody's going to pay. They said, well, if we don't pay, are you still going to protect us? I said, absolutely not. They couldn't believe the answer. And everybody, you never saw more money pour in to Secretary General Stoltenberg. Well, I don't know if he is anymore, but he was my biggest fan. He said, all these presidents came in, they'd make a speech, they'd leave, and that was it. And they all owed money, and they wouldn't pay it. I came in, I made a speech, and I said, you got to pay up. They asked me that question. One of the presidents of a big country stood up and said, well, sir, if we don't pay and we're attacked by Russia, will you protect us? I said, you didn't pay? You're delinquent? He said, yes, let's say that happened. No, I would not protect you. In fact, I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want. You got to pay. You got to pay your bills.
You can clearly see that ABC News had no interest in fact-checking Vice President Harris because these things are very accessible to the public. Now, when the moderators asked Harris about Donald Trump's recent comments on her race and ethnicity, she used this time to insert yet another lie. She referenced a case back in 1989 in which a group of Black and Latino teens were arrested for an alleged rape. Well, Harris said that Donald Trump took out a full-page ad calling for the execution of the alleged perpetrators, when in fact, Trump did take out a full-page ad, but he clearly stated that he's in favor of the death penalty if they are found guilty and if the victim dies. That is a far stretch from calling for the execution of 5 innocent teens. Let's play the clip.
Let's remember, this is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young Black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park 5. Took out a full-page ad calling for their execution.
She was still alive, and in fact still is.
I am strongly in favor of the death penalty. I'm saying if they're found guilty.
I'm saying if they're found guilty. If they're found guilty.
If the woman died, which she hopefully will not be dying, but if the woman died, I think they should be executed.
If ABC had any kind of dignity, they would have quickly corrected Harris on those bold-faced lies, as they did with Trump with the things that he said that were not true. As a matter of fact, on multiple occasions, they actually lied in their fact checks toward Donald Trump. Several things that they claimed were not true was actually true. Maybe I will make a video on that later so you all can see the contrast. Leave me a comment if you would like to see me fact check ABC's fact checks on Donald Trump. Let's take a look at the final and boldest lie of the debate. Now, in this last video, Kamala Harris said that there is nowhere in America that a woman is carrying a baby to term and asking for an abortion. Well, in fact, there are 6 states that have very extreme abortion laws. Vermont, for example, has absolutely no restrictions and allow a woman to have an abortion at term. Now, let's first listen to Kamala Harris and afterwards a pro-choice video that will surely shock you.
Nowhere in America is a woman carrying a pregnancy to term and asking for an abortion. That is not happening. It's insulting to the women of America.
Side that we're talking about.
Republican Ben Sasse blasts Governor Ralph Northam of Virginia for supporting a bill in his state that would have allowed abortion up until and during birth.
We're talking about a little baby girl who's been born and is on a table in a hospital or a medical facility, and then a decision or a debate would be had about whether or not you could kill that little baby.
Sasse noted it's the biggest debate in the country over the last couple of days. But yesterday, Democrats claimed they hadn't heard Governor Northam's comments.
I'm sorry, I just don't know what he said yesterday.
Here's what Virginia's governor did say.
The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mothers.
Now, Senator Sasse is fast-tracking his bill to protect children who survive abortions.
Everyone in the Senate ought to be able to say unequivocally that killing that little baby is wrong. This doesn't take any political courage. And if you can't say that, if there's a member of this body that can't say that, there may be lots of work you can do in the world, but you shouldn't be here.
And pro-life groups will try to oust pro-abortion lawmakers, including in Virginia.
They overplayed their hand, they pulled back the curtain, and they showed Virginians and they showed the entire United States of America what the abortion lobby is really about.
Virginia's Republican majority leader says it's a warning.
They have now been exposed in what they believe and the things they embrace and the legislation they would clearly advance if they had the opportunity.
Democratic Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia, his office says he did not support the failed abortion bill, but he wouldn't comment on the controversy surrounding Governor Northam's words. Senator Ben Sasse's proposal would punish doctors who don't treat infants surviving abortions. The House passed the same bill in 2018. Only 6 Democrats voted for it.
So there you have it, 5 quick and easy fact checks that points out Kamala Harris's lies. ABC could have easily called her out on these, but they decided not to. Now, my takeaways are as follows. First and foremost, the mainstream media, they're completely biased and left-leaning. They cannot offer fair reporting on anything that does not fit their agenda. Second takeaway is this debate, it was completely unfair. It was very clear to see that it was not Donald Trump against Kamala Harris. No, it was ABC News and Kamala Harris against Donald Trump. She knows for sure that she was not going to get called out on her lies, but she failed to realize that the American people are tired of the same old politics. And those of us that are educated voters, we're going to go and do our own research. We're going to do our own due diligence. We're not able to be easily persuaded by any candidate without doing our own due diligence. Let me know what you think about today's video and Kamala Harris's lies in the comments below. Now, did you hear any other lies that I did not mention? What about the moderators? Do you think they moderated in a fair and unbiased way? If you got any value from this video, then I know you would love this one as I expose Governor Tim Walz and the Harris-Walz true agenda. Now, be sure to click on it, and until next time.